There we go. Tuesday, August 28th, 15 game slate on the docket for today. I took an absolute bludgeoning yesterday. Go Blue Jays. That went really well. I'm ready for this. I need to get back on the winning ways. I want to have a good night. So I'm going deep dive into this 15 gamer. Jake, how'd your Monday shake out?
Monday was good. Got the Bregman Dong.
Ugh.
Got Corbin. We talked about Hess quite a bit as a pivot to Despaigne, but I kind of split ownership with them. So could have been a lot better if I would have made a bigger stance on Hess, but profitable night and looking forward to a huge slate. So a couple of my favorite teams in really good spots. So this is just a bad slate for me. I can't imagine how this goes well with the Dodgers in like the nut spot in the best park. It's going to be an Ariel Jurado shutout, it looks like.
Yeah. Did you see the performance of Morales and Smoke for Jake and I? Or yeah, for Jake and I. For Chris and I?
No, they do.
0 for 7, 5 Ks.
Really?
That's not how you get a home run.
Wow.
I told Chris I wanted Morales to go 0 for 5 with 5 Ks, and then I looked at it and was like, oh, Smoke's working on it.
Yeah. That's just Cy Hess. Cy Hess was a baller last night. 2 straight starts against Toronto.
I can't even talk about it. It hurts my soul.
Yeah. I mean, he's not that great, but clearly he's not that bad. And people just think he's terrible, but he's all right.
That's the only one that hurts me. Not so much Hess pitching well, but the Blue Jays just getting goose-egged.
Yeah.
That one, it was just, it hurt me. It hurt me.
Yeah, so if you guys were on the Astros, you probably had a pretty decent night. Those are kind of the bats you needed. Someone asked if we use randomness on Fantasy Cruncher. Do you use randomness, Josh?
I do. 5% on hitters, 20% on pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, I go like 10 to 15% just across the board. So we're kind of in the same boat, but you just mix around your pitchers a little bit more.
Randy Borman, thanks. Didn't realize I didn't change the banner. We're good. Fixed. Fixed. Shark, in this case, you missed the Astros bats. What do you look into in your model? I don't know. It was a case where I think that I probably should have changed my weighting to prioritize hitters a little bit more when I saw how high the average pitcher price was. So I think I probably missed a little bit there. That would have naturally pulled the Astros up a little bit higher. They were similar to a couple teams that I did have and in similar price points, but I think just they were like a quarter of a notch below. And if I would have prioritized bats just slightly more, it might have pulled them up higher.
I mean, I don't think you'd change anything in your projections.
No.
Just after one night. I mean, if you're doing this for weeks straight, you feel like you're missing on stuff you should have hit on, then maybe you need to take a look at some stuff. I mean, it's always nice to go back and mess around and Fantasy Cruncher rewind or whatever, but yeah, I don't want to make any drastic changes. Shark, if you're asking for yourself or for a friend, don't change anything just because you missed on the Astros last night. I mean, so did 89% of the field or 90-some% of the field. So
yeah.
And honestly, it was pretty lucky if you got there with Houston. They got, 7 or 8 runs in the 8th? Like, it's not like they smashed Brett Anderson, which is the reason you stacked up Houston.
I mean, they kind of did. He only went 2 2/3, gave up 5 runs and 7 hits.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, they did a good job, but it's not like they were just bashing everyone the whole night or like they lit them up for 3 home runs or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure not a lot of people thought that Tyler White was going to be the guy that had a 4 RBI night. So
yeah, so
and I had a lot of it had to do with the fact that I had more respect for Brett Anderson. It wasn't necessarily an anti-Astros bats. It was more, I think Brett Anderson is better as a regular pitcher than a DFS pitcher. So that was more my problem than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, I forced in 2 Astros lines on FanDuel, 2 on DK. I just, the filler in those lines was probably the Blue Jays, which clearly didn't help me.
Yeah.
Alrighty. You ready to get started?
I am.
Here we go. Blue Jays and Orioles. Let's do this again. Blue Jays 4.7 run implied total. Orioles 4.3. It's a 54% chance to win for the Blue Jays. I don't know how to say it. Pannone? Thomas Pannone? Pan 1?
Pan 1.
Thomas Pan 1 going for the Jays. Josh Rogers going for Baltimore. Obviously not a ton of info on both of these guys. I know that Pan 1, bit of a soft tosser, more of a command guy. Neither guy projects to be anything good. I don't know why he's 7,300 on DraftKings. That's a really high price. I don't want either of the guys. I don't want any pitching in this game. I'm all about the hitting. So are you on Pan 1 or Rogers?
I'm on Pan 1 a little bit.
Pannone?
Yeah, Pannone. Pan 1.
Fuck.
He threw, I think it was 108 pitches in his last start, and it was against Baltimore. So these two teams just played last week. Missed a decent amount of bats. Didn't have the strikeouts, but like only 3 strikeouts, but 13% swinging strike rate. And it's kind of even more impressive because he was getting behind hitters, wasn't getting ahead with the first pitch strike, and wasn't really getting chases. So I don't know how to feel about him, but he is 7,300 and a super long leash already. So against that same team, Baltimore, as we know, strikes out a ton. So yeah, I have interest for a guy that has the ability to go 110 pitches at 7,300, especially because, and I haven't loaded ownership in yet, but I'm expecting Lance Lynn to be owned. I'm expecting Brian Johnson to be owned, so he makes for a nice pivot.
No Brian Johnson.
No Brian Johnson?
Nope.
No one's on him?
Nope.
Wow. As a 260 favorite?
He's at 0 right now.
I bet it'll creep up a little bit.
Wait, am I looking at Gibson? No, it's still 0. Yeah, I mean, I won't have Johnson. He came out as a 0 for me, but as we talked about previously to the show, apparently my projections are nothing more than ownership projections for the public.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, I have to imagine some people will play the 260 favorite and the 235 favorite in Lance Lynn. So,
yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you're on Pan 1.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if you're gonna do it, getting a pitcher against the Orioles is a decent spot to do something like that. I just think he's too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, and you can pretty much, like, you look at the weather in this game, and it's 90 degrees, like some soft wind blowing out and stuff, but it's basically like that everywhere. So the weather is not favorable for any pitcher, really. So anyone that can miss bats, and Pan 1 missed bats at a decent rate last time out against the same team, I'm interested in. So not expecting a perfect start by any means, but he is going to be in my player pool at the very least. I'll have a good amount of him.
So Blue Jays bats. Number 2 stack for me on FanDuel. Number 2 stack for me on DK. I'm going back to the well. The public is not. Only 5% aggregate on FanDuel, so I'm double the field. 3% aggregate on DraftKings. I'm triple the field. Do you want to have the Blue Jays again tonight? Or maybe not again, but do you want to have the Blue Jays tonight?
Yeah, I was under the field last night. I have no issue jumping on the Blue Jays here just because it's going to be kind of a bullpen game. I don't know much about Josh Rogers, just to be transparent.
He's a much worse version of Pan 1.
Okay. I do know about this Orioles bullpen. They've been a disaster over the last month. 466 xFIP, 153 WHIP. Those are both top 3 or bottom 3 numbers in that time. They don't really strike people out. They walk everybody. And that's just the bullpen at a whole. And so obviously great hitting weather. If they're going to be low owned, then yeah, I'm going to stack up guys like Grichuk and Smoke, Morales, Teoscar I love for 4,200, and then Lourdes Gurriel for 4,200 as well. So they're kind of priced awkwardly. I think that's what's going to keep people off of them. They're not super cheap like we've seen sometimes. But yeah, as a mid-tier stack, I like the Blue Jays against this terrible bullpen.
Yeah, I'm hoping I was just a day early, and I like the fact that ownership is down a little bit here. So I'm going to have an overwhelming amount of Blue Jays in comparison to the public. And hopefully today just makes my money back from yesterday.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Orioles bats, though? I'm double the field on both sites, 7th on FanDuel, 6th on DK. Again, it's more of a play against Pan 1 than anything else. I'm really excited about calling him Pan 1 for the rest of the time. I hope he stays in the league for a while. So I got a bunch of the key guys at the top: VR, Adam Jones, Mancini, Chris Davis, Beckham. I like these guys, and they're cheap. They make things work.
Yeah, again, I think it's just VR for me, 4,200. That's really going to be about it. I don't think I'm stacking up any like blue or Orioles main stacks. And I don't know. I mean, are you running out 5-2-1s, or is it too early? Are you runs? Because if I'm running out 5-2-1s, then I'm probably going to end up with a couple Blue Jays mini stacks with probably VR, and I don't even know who the other guy would be. Maybe Mancini, and I come those guys grade out okay for me.
Everything I ran this morning was 5-3.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
Got it.
Yeah, I just can't avoid it. The pitching's too bad in this game, for me at least.
Yeah.
This game didn't have a total though, right? Yeah, still doesn't.
I agree. You got to get this win. Alex Bregman, MVP.
Hate Alex Bregman. All right, next game, I'm going to introduce it, and then I'm going to try to make my dog lay on the couch. Nats and Phillies. Nats 3.7 run implied total. Phillies 3.3. It's a 54% chance to win for the Nats. Max Scherzer going for Washington. Aaron Nola going for Philly. If this looks familiar, it should. Scherzer, most expensive pitcher on the slate today. I'm a fan. We've got him at 29% ownership on DK. That's what I've got. We've got him at 21% ownership on FanDuel. That's what I've got. I'm not going to Nola, however. So let's talk about Scherzer and Nola. What do you think?
I'm right there with you. So Scherzer 12.6, kind of a discount on him. I mean, here again, the weather sucks for pitching, near 90 degrees and wind blowing out. But for a guy like Scherzer that just misses a ton of bats like all the time, I mean, you know his credentials. I don't need to list anything off. He's elite, one of the top 2 pitchers in the MLB, and gets a good strikeout matchup against a team that strikes out 25% of the time against righties for the season. So yeah, I think you can fit in Scherzer today. There are some punt pitchers that I'm interested in, and some that aren't. So I'll be able to differentiate myself even when I go to Scherzer and a punt pitcher. And then Nola, I think just too tough of a matchup. He's much better at home, but 10-6 against Harper, Soto, like Rendon, Eaton, Turner. I just don't like to target against the Nats. I know some pitchers have had success, like some much worse pitchers like Jose Urena, but I don't think I'm going to Nola here. I like a couple guys that are cheaper than him at the 10K price range.
That same spot. It's hard to go to the Nats against the Nats rather. Any bats here, because I don't see this as a particularly viable spot to stack.
No.
Yeah. I don't have much else to say. Like, I like Scherzer. It's hard to not like Scherzer. Obviously, big time upside. What's the weather looking like here?
It's 87, wind blowing out a little bit. It's very similar to the last game.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have Scherzer, and that's about it. I wish I had like a hot take here, but I can't imagine anybody wanting to actually have bats.
I mean, 15-game slate, why would you want to target against Scherzer and Nola? That's where I'm at, but that's going to be where 99.9% of people are. So if you really like one of these teams, you're not going to need much to have a big edge if they go off.
Exactly. Yeah, you can put if you play 2 5-mans and you're good to go.
Right. So you're going to have a stack of everyone, or do you do that on 15-game slates?
I'll have one of everybody.
Okay. Yeah. I am going to narrow it down to probably 6 or 7 5-mans if I do 5-mans. But yeah, it's going to be tough to narrow it down. It always is on these big slates. But yeah. What's up, Sean V? Nice
Sean
call, Australia.
Sean V in the house.
What do you got for us today, Sean V? Are you waiting until the live before lock?
Buddy, you've got to get off of my lap right now. I'm trying to do my work.
Your dog's on your lap?
Halfway. He's trying to get all the way up in the chair. Which isn't really helping me at all. But he looks really sad. I think he just wants to hang out with me. Come on. All the way up. All the way up. Okay, I got him. All right. He's going to be on the screen for the day.
Nice.
Riggs, say hi to everybody. Say hi, Riggs. There you go. Alrighty, moving on. White Sox and Yankees. White Sox 3.8 run implied total. Yankees 5.9. Huge total. 70% chance to win for the Yanks. 1% too high in my opinion. James Shields going for Chicago. Lance Lynn going for New York. Lance Lynn, relatively chalky. 17% on DK, just 6% on FanDuel. I'm over the field on both. A little bit on DK, and then basically 4 times the field on FanDuel. I like Lance Lynn quite a bit here. Obviously, the White Sox strike out aggressively. And I love the Yankees. Number 5 stack on FanDuel, number 1 on DraftKings. I will target against James Shields until the day I die. Give me everything Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, so Lance Lynn, we don't really need to talk about playing James Shields, right? Do you have any of them? Josh, are you there? Anyways, so I'm not playing James Shields. And then, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. You took your headphone out there for a minute. I'm watching on delay.
Yeah, I just got the dog out of my lap.
Yeah, so Lance Lynn, 7,800. No issue with him. He's kind of been very good at just dominating these bad teams. Like you look recently since coming over to the Yankees, 7 innings, 9 strikeouts against the White Sox, and then against Texas, 5 innings, 8 strikeouts, kind of doing exactly what the Yankees are asking him to do, get to 5 or 6 innings and limit the damage and let the bullpen close the game out. So they're letting him go decently deep when he's not getting blown up, which he has his last couple starts. But even so, he gave up 5 earned, went 5 1/3 in his last start against Miami, 110 pitches. So I've been kind of wrong about them not having a long leash for him.
Yeah.
So I don't really mind paying this price. I didn't see a projected ownership on him. 19, 17? Okay. 17's fine. I think that's fair. Just a huge favorite against the team that strikes out a ton. They're going to have a handful of righties in there for him. The weather is worrisome, but where are you at on Lance Lynn?
I love him. I've got 29%, so I'm way over the field, and I've got 21% on FanDuel, and we're only projecting 6. So, yeah, I'm on Team Lance Lynn today. And for the reference, or for everybody's reference, the dog is a boxer, just 100% boxer. I love Lance Lynn here. I love anybody that pitches against the White Sox, basically.
So if you're going to White Sox bats, there's 2 guys I think are really awesome leverage plays if we start to hear that Lynn's going to be even more chalky than we expected.
Polka.
And?
Well, my answer would be Avisail Garcia because he's really cheap on FanDuel, but I don't think that's your answer. So
I think it's Moncada for me. It's definitely Polka, number 1, just lefty power against Lynn. You could easily see him hitting a bomb. But I think my second guy would be Moncada. I would like him to bat higher up in the order.
I was going to say, I can't get there if he's hitting 7th.
So it'll be interesting to see what the White Sox do with their lineup. If they stack lefties at the top, like they could put Moncada
one second. Yeah, I can see that then.
And then go Delmonico like somewhere in the top 6. I mean, I would think they do that. I can't remember off the top of my head if they've been doing that lately. as they're trying to tank, basically. But yeah, I mean, I'll have both sides. I will have some White Sox stacks just because it is a really good leverage spot and it's good hitting, whether it's White Sox team specifically from the left side.
I can't get to the White Sox. I don't have any. I greatly prefer Lynn, and I greatly prefer the Yanks bats. Gardner, Stanton, Hicks, and I mean pretty much everybody. Luke Voit still unavoidable on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Although now he's 2,300.
He's also. Oh, is he playing? I was looking.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. 37 on DK. I should say they're probably going to be mostly 2-man stacks in the White Sox, just because I don't want a full stack. Because even if they get to Lynn, they're just going to get shut down by the bullpen.
Yeah.
The bullpen's just going to come in and probably strike everyone out. So your stack is capped. That's why I like the 2-mans. You're home run hunting against Lance Lynn.
I get that.
So some people don't consider that a stack. I guess, do you consider that a stack?
No.
2-man?
No. But I think we need a word for it.
I mean, I just call it mini stacking.
What can we call it?
2-man minis?
A duo?
Yeah, duo. There you go.
Or is there anything else that comes in pairs that I'm going to walk into a bunch of jokes here, but any like natural things that come in pairs that we can call it that it would be like a really good tag? Chat, what should we call 2-man stacks?
Yeah, chat can work on that. We can just quick mention Yankees bats. So you said that you love them, correct?
Yeah, #1 stack on DraftKings.
Yeah.
I'm under the field though. They're the chalk stack of the day.
So they're not my #1 stack. But I'm more likely to stack against James Shields than I have been lately, just because he still does give up power. It's Yankee Stadium. It's 90 degrees. A little bit of wind blowing out here as well. Hicks is my favorite play, and then Stanton, Torres, Andujar in that next tier. And then everyone after that, I'm not super interested in. I mean, you can make a case for Brett Gardner just because he's 4,300, but I don't really like his hitting matchup. It's fine. It's a good steals matchup, though. So definitely some upside in the full stack here, more than I would usually say against James Shields.
Maybe I misheard. Did you say you don't like Gardner's hitting matchup?
Not that much. I mean, I just don't think Gardner's that great of a hitter for DFS.
Okay. I was like, I mean, lefty, righty, and the righty being James Shields is about as good as it's going to get for him. But I see what you're saying now. You don't necessarily like Gardner as a DFS hitter, not necessarily his matchup against James Shields specifically.
Yeah, I guess that's probably a better way to put it. And it is a good stolen base matchup. So there's that.
Yeah. For me, I want everybody in the Yankees lineup. I try to avoid Shane Robinson just because there's 3 other outfielders that are really good. I don't get a lot of Austin Romine, but everybody else looks pretty tasty. Gleyber Torres, shortstop eligibility on FanDuel.
Oh, really? That'd be nice if they had that on DK.
Oh, if he had a duel? Whew. I mean, is he? So I assume he's been playing short.
I think he has to, unless FanDuel is just going haywire here and just picking whichever position they choose that day.
I don't know what DK's eligibility requirements are, but possible that he could get dual eligibility shortly.
Yeah.
Which would be, wow, that would really help out the Yankee stack.
Yep.
Alrighty. Moving on. Brewers and Reds. Brewers, 4.8 run implied total. Reds, 4.6. It's a 53% chance to win for the Brewers. Junior Guerra going for Milwaukee. Anthony Desclafani going for Cincinnati because he pitches every day. 9% expected ownership to Guerra. I don't have any. 4% to Desclafani. I have 2. So pitching is not the direction I'm looking here. I'd be surprised if anybody really is, although I think you can make a case for a little bit of Guerra. He's just not a guy that I'm getting to. So what do you think about pitching here?
I mean, I'm not on either pitcher, and it's pretty simple for me. I love both sides for hitting here. So Guerra, remember when we talked about Guerra last week about his home road splits?
Yeah.
They're just massive, and he had a solid start, and that was at home. Now he goes on the road in one of the worst parks to pitch in as far as it being small and good for home runs. And you've got Joey Votto back, it looks like.
Yeah.
Scooter Gennett. I love Suarez as always. And then Schebler leading off for 4,300. So the Reds are actually one of my favorite stacks. You need to get to them early. They have a good bullpen. So you need to get to Garrett early and kind of get the Reds to get a lead. So that's the only issue, is the Brewers having a decent bullpen. And then against Desclafani, same thing. Lefty power against him. So Yelich, Shaw, Moustakas, and Thames really, really jump out to me. And then mashed in between those guys are Lorenzo Cain and Jesus Aguilar, who both have power, and Cain has speed. So it just sets up really nicely as stacks on both sides for me.
Okay. So if you really like the Reds, I would suggest you shimmy your way over to FanDuel, where they're crazy cheap, like $3,000 Joey Votto and $2,900 Peraza, $2,900 Schebler, your boy Scooter, $3,500. Reds are tasty on FanDuel, so tasty in fact they are my number 3 stack on FanDuel. I'm over the field. They're just a really easy to get to stack. First 5 spots in their order go outfield, short, first, second, third. That makes putting them in lines super, super easy. I don't have them much on DK, though. I'm under the field on DK. So this is the team that I'm split the most on. They are 3rd on FanDuel and 14th on DraftKings.
I think, yeah, it's just the price discrepancy. It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
So that's why people won't go to them. And that's perfect. I want them to be low owned in this park against a guy who struggles on the road and struggles with lefty power. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I don't like game stacking just for the sake of game stacking, because I don't think there's correlation in we've talked about this. There's not really correlation between the two teams scoring runs. You can't try harder if you get down 6-0 to hit a ball farther. I mean, you can, but it's usually not going to work out too well. But I like both sides of this, so I will have like full game stacks.
Okay. I have some Brewers. They're 10th on FanDuel, 9th on DK for me, just a notch above the field. I'm happy to have most of the lefties, Yelich, Shaw, Moustakas, Thames. I get a little bit of Lorenzo Cain. I'm happy to have parts of this game just because, good ballpark, good time to have it. Neither pitcher particularly exciting. I'll have enough of either team on both sites that if something pops off, I'll have a chance. But I'm not overloading anything really outside of the FanDuel filler Reds.
Yeah, I'm not going to be on either pitcher. These two guys will likely get X'd out of my player pool.
Okay.
All that.
I don't have a huge aversion to that.
Yeah.
To the Marlins we go. Marlins and Red Sox. Marlins 3.9 run implied total. Red Sox 5.9. Get excited, people. 69% chance to win for the Red Sox.
That's nice.
Jose Urena going for Miami. Brian Johnson going for Boston. I don't have either pitcher. 0% Johnson, 0% Urena. We're not projecting any ownership to these guys either. So you mentioned Brian Johnson earlier. What do you think of him?
I just thought people would be on him. I thought him and Lynn would be, and maybe they will, but I thought him and Lynn would easily be the chalk guys, like both around 20% in this range. Just eyeballing the slate last night. He's 7K. He's had decent starts. Like, he's shown a little bit of strikeout upside, not recently, but can go 90+ pitches, got up over 100 a couple games. And it's a bad Marlins team, and he's a huge favorite at home. So I just thought he was a logical guy that people would go to. And if no one's going to go to him, then yeah, I'm going to have Brian Johnson, just for all the reasons I said. But I mean, the reason I was kind of sour on him on the night shift was because I expected this morning to see 18% ownership on him. And he's not the highest upside option, but he is a solid one, I think. So that's where I'm at for Brian Johnson. On the other side against him, I really like Brian Anderson. This guy, he's just a stud. Hits lefties really well, dual position eligibility, and no one ever plays him. So 47% hard contact for him on the season. Just 16% K rate, 125 WRC plus. Just a solid hitter against lefties. So he's the one guy I like on the other side. And then I'm assuming you like Red Sox, correct?
Yeah, but nothing crazy aggressive. I'm over the field. They're 6th for me on FanDuel, 8th on DK. I'm 2% above the field on FanDuel, 3% on DraftKings. So it's not a complete mashing of them, but I do have spots where I'm pretty heavy. It's mostly the top 6, so Betts, Benintendi, Moreland, JD, Bogarts, and Kinsler. And then Swihart on DK just as a catcher. Dual eligibility catcher. Can't imagine wanting to slot him into that outfield spot.
He comes up sometimes on Fantasy Cruncher, and I like if I see that, I'm re-crunching. I'm not going with Blake Swihart
at an outfield spot or just in general.
At outfield.
No, that's not an opportune spot to do that.
Game slate, I don't know. I don't think he's a very good hitter.
There's 4 other outfielders just on that team.
Yeah. So I'm going to have a ton of the top 4 and probably the top 5 with Bogarts. Just Urena, a guy that gives up a lot of hard hits to lefties. Not the biggest strikeout guy. Boston at home against righties this year has been very profitable if you've been on that for the most part. And just way too many good hitters for me to consider playing Urena even at 5K. Wind blowing out, 90 degrees in Fenway. This is a top 4 spot on the night for me. They're right in the next tier after the Dodgers.
Totally get it. No qualms with anybody. Really like Kinsler today. Only 3,700. That's a really nice price for him, especially getting a second baseman. Only 2,600 on FanDuel. He's a guy I have quite a bit of. So rank the outfielders.
On the Red Sox?
Yeah, and skip Jackie Bradley and a noted outfielder, Blake Swihart. Put Betts, Benintendi, and JD Martinez in a preference order for yourself.
God, that's so tough. Like, I guess it would be Betts, JD, Benintendi, which is weird because I prefer lefties against Urena, but Betts and JD just like break my model whenever they're not going up against Scherzer or can't play against Chris Sale, but like Bauer or someone like that.
I was about to be like, or Sale.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But
yeah, I would go Betts, Benintendi, then JD on FanDuel. Benintendi is $1,100 cheaper than JD and $1,000 cheaper than Betts on FanDuel. So Benintendi is the nuts from the Red Sox on FanDuel. I'd go Betts, JD, then Benintendi on DK.
I have no issue. Like you could rank them anyway, and I would be like, oh, yeah, that makes some sense.
Yeah. I don't really love any part of the Marlins as a stack. I'm under the field, but they're pretty cost efficient. So if you wanted to get, like, I don't see the need to go to them because of Johnson not having any exposure, but Ortega, Real Muto, Anderson, Castro, Austin Dean, I think makes as like an efficient contrarian stack. I just don't know if there's any need to do it. Oh God, my dog is cute as fuck sleeping on the couch right now. Yeah, there's not enough leverage for me to want to try to do that.
Right.
Okie dokie, moving on. Twins and Indians. Twins 3.6 run implied total. Indians 5.0. It is a 65% chance to win for the Indians. Kyle Gibson going for Minnesota. Carlos Carrasco going for Cleveland. Carrasco 22% expected ownership. I'm above that on DK. 18% on FanDuel. I'm below it slightly, but I like Carrasco quite a bit. I don't like Kyle Gibson at all. So where are you going to land on Carrasco? Is he a guy you want to eat the chalk for?
Yeah, so he's the guy that I'm foregoing Aaron Nola for, or one of them. Just you're kind of getting a discount on him. Again, bad pitching weather here, but we see that everywhere. And 3.4 run total for the Twins is pretty telling. I think Carrasco is healthy, had a rough start against Boston in Boston, but pretty much everyone does. Like it rarely goes well. So I'm giving him a pass for that. He's dominated every team that he faced before that for like his last 7 or 8 starts, including the Twins twice. Went 7 1/3, 10 strikeouts, 6 1/3, 8 strikeouts in back-to-back starts. I mean, he's just got so much swing and miss upside here. And I know the Twins don't have a bunch of strikeouts, but Carrasco's a guy that when he's on, I'm not really worried about guys with 15% K rates against him because he can just make anyone look silly. So I'm certainly on Carrasco. 22% ownership is about what I expected. I'm going to try to have more than that. I think I will end up with more than that, in 30-35% range. Yeah, he's like one of the only guys I think that can match Scherzer or come close to matching Scherzer on this slate, and you get him for $2,300 cheaper.
Yeah, he's got great upside. He's probably my second favorite guy in terms of all of the high end for today. So, love Carrasco here. I feel sad that you're going against the Minnesota Jakes so aggressively, but sometimes you're playing with your wallet.
They're bad.
Okay. Indians bats. I probably have a little bit too much respect for Kyle Gibson as just a general pitcher. I do like the 5-run implied total, but not a lot of traction for the Indians as a stack. I have a little bit of them on FanDuel, nothing really on DK. Are you going to be trying to fit them in?
Just going to have duos of the top 3 Indians. That's what I plan to do. I really, really respect Gibson. So I think I even have more respect than you do for how good of a pitcher I think Gibson is. So a guy I rarely target against 15-game slate. I'm not really looking to do that here. And just love those top 3 hitters against righties. So that's where I'll be at. Not going to have full Indian stacks. I don't think they're even a top 12 play for me as a full stack.
Sure. Yeah, they're 12th for me on FanDuel, 18th on DK. They're just really hard to get to. I'd be fine with Brantley as a one-off. Jose Ramirez at 10% expected ownership. I don't really need to be there. Yeah, they're just it's just not the spot for the Indians today.
Yeah, I agree.
To the Rays we go. Rays 3.8 run implied total. Braves 4.2. Why don't I have Acuna in right now? I assume Acuna's slotted to lead off.
Yeah, the site that you pull from lineups from has changed Acuna's name to Acuna Jr.
I knew that. I need to add that. Is there punctuation in that by any chance?
Yeah, comma, JR, period.
Comma?
Yeah, okay. Ronald Acuna, comma, JR.
Okay.
Period.
I'll add that when you start talking. Stanek expected to start for the Rays. I've got Chirinos in as the true starter. And then Julio Teheran going for Atlanta. Teheran, 6% expected ownership. I've only got 3. Not really interested in that much pitching here. I don't think that I'll get to Chirinos. 5,300 is more than I'd like to spend in a situation where he's an underdog. And I don't have much interest in the bats as well. This is the game that I would like to just go completely quiet.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's just some interest in Chirinos. Assuming he's going to be the guy that's coming in 5,300. I think he's a good pitcher. Can really miss bats. It's a tough matchup, but I'm just looking for guys to spread around ownership in that 5K range that aren't Felix Hernandez. And so I'll have Nova. We'll talk about him soon. I mean, some people will play Knicks, and then I'm going to mix in some Yanni Chirinos. So it's not going to be a guy I'm making a huge stand on, but yeah, I really like him. If I like him at that price, I don't love the matchup.
Same. I don't mind. If I get a couple percentage points of Chirinos whenever Fantasy Cruncher puts him in, I'm fine with it. I don't expect him to blow up or anything. It's just not that kind of spot.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with a Jake Bauers one-off. I'd be fine with a Kevin Kiermaier one-off. Inciarte or Freeman, I could get there as well, but I don't see either of these teams as particularly stackable.
Bauer's dual position eligibility, like he just keeps getting priced down for some reason. He grades out really
probably because of talent, if I had to guess.
He grades out pretty well for me against righties.
Oh, he grades out really well for me today.
Yeah, just cheap, one-off dual position eligibility. Did this total just go up, or am I seeing stuff?
It might have. Let's see.
8.5.
Speaking of totals, Toronto-Baltimore total, 9.5 runs. I had it in as 9, so I can bump that up a little bit. I will be liking Toronto and Baltimore bats a little bit more. Mets-Cubs total, 9.5. I had it in for 10. We haven't gotten there yet. And nothing on Colorado and the Angels as of yet.
There we go.
Braves total is still 8.5. What do I have it in here as? I have it in as 8. So it's gone up a hook.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm not in love with the Braves bats. So I don't think we need to talk about them too much.
No. It makes me like Inciarte and Freeman a little bit more. It makes me like Bowers and Kiermaier a little bit more. But again, these teams are not going to be teams that I'll be stacking heavily.
Okay.
And we're not expecting too much ownership. So if I do one line a piece, I think that'll actually be enough.
I mean, you'll probably be close to the field at the very least. Yeah. And you're not playing Tehran.
No.
Are you?
I mean, I have 3%, so just random stuff that pops up.
I think just too many lefties for me for Tehran at 8,200.
He's just so inconsistent. And at 8,200, like, he can really be a problem if you get the bad version.
Right.
And at 8,200, you really need him to be like the solid version.
Yeah. You need him to get 20 plus, 20, 23, 24 DK points type of thing.
Yeah. Like if he were 7,200, you can get by a little bit more. Obviously. Right. I mean, I'm not saying anything that's revolutionary there, but
he's cheap. You need less points.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. You ready for this one? Here we go, people. Dodgers and Rangers. Dodgers, 6.2 run implied total. Rangers, 4.3. It is a 67% chance to win for the Dodgers. Walker Buehler going for LA. Ariel Jurado, who I now feel pitches constantly for Texas, going for Texas. You're obviously not playing Jurado. I don't have any Walker Buehler right now, so let's start there. Are you interested in Walker Buehler? Because on the surface, I would have thought this was a good matchup. But digging in, I don't totally see it.
No, I mean, like I said, there's a bunch of guys that I like around this 10K price tag. I'd rather play Nola over Buehler very, very easily. So no Buehler for me. And then obviously I'd rather play Carrasco and another guy that we'll talk about later. But no Buehler. I don't like targeting Texas at home. Just the ball just flies there, and it's near 100 degrees. It says wind blowing in, but the wind kind of swirls in that stadium anyway, so don't really pay attention to that. Then you've got guys like Gallo, Odor, Chu, Mazzara back under 4K. I like the Rangers stack, even though I really respect Buehler as a pitcher. If he's not striking guys out, it's going to be a really rough game, I think. You have to miss bats in the stadium to be successful when it's late August or summer months.
Yeah, it's weird. So the Rangers have K'd a lot against righties, 25% for the year. But they've got guys like Andrews doesn't K, Beltre doesn't K, Profar doesn't K. And then you have the inverse of that where it's Gallo only Ks. Chirinos pretty much only Ks. So there's a scenario where I can see Buehler just racking up strikeouts. And then there's a scenario where I don't see him having that sort of same success. Like if you don't strike out Beltre and then Profar, where are they? Are they on then for Joey Gallo? It makes for an interesting combination. So I don't think that I'm going to get to Buehler. I wanted to. I would have assumed I did with the Rangers 4.3 run implied total, but he's just not popping enough for me.
uh, Josh Turan isn't that good. Jake Well, he's actually pretty good. Last week's combo. I mean,
Yeah, I stacked pretty heavily against Tehran last week, and it was one of those games where he was good.
I think Turan is pretty good overall. I don't know for the slate. I don't know. We're playing DFS here. Yeah, Bueller's a pretty easy fade for me. Just weather and look at some of these ISOs for this Texas team. A bunch of guys around 200, and yeah, they strike out a lot, but he's not Scherzer. He's under 10% swinging strike rate for the season. Very good pitcher, but just with the elements, I actually like some Texas bats against him. So I'm probably just full stacking the Rangers, and they're not expected to be super highly owned besides Elvis Andrews, but that's more of a price thing, it looks like.
Beltre at 10% as well.
Yeah. Beltre is not even close to one of my favorite Rangers. I think I would put all the lefties besides Guzman ahead of him. So even better.
Yeah, I don't have any Rangers at all, and that's another spot where I won't get to them if Bueller's not owned at all. Let's talk about our favorite. Dodgers bats, number 1 stack on FanDuel, number 3 stack on DK. They are my number 1 stack overall, but they're very popular to the public. Surprise, surprise. That's what happens when you face Ariel Jurado. So I've got 11% on FanDuel, public's at 12, and it's 9-9 on DK. I'm going to have a bunch of the Dodgers. That should not be surprising. They are chalky. They have the highest implied total on the slate. Is there anything you don't want from the Dodgers besides Max Muncy?
I just want to touch on T McBee. Does the stadium in Texas still have the reverse wind effect? When the wind blows in from right, it carries the ball out. I think they changed that. So I think Peter Lou is right. I think they made adjustments to the stadium so that it mitigates that. But
there you go.
I still don't pay attention to how the wind blows in that stadium. I know it doesn't really affect it that much. There you go. There's a good mixture, Jared Good. If you mix Jake's pitching with Josh Bats and get an unowned stack from Tom, that's GPP winning stuff. There you go. Find something for everyone here.
Yeah.
Dodgers' favorite stack of the night. I think Ariel Jurado is probably one of the worst pitchers, one of the worst starting pitchers in the MLB right now. You just cannot go along and survive without missing bats. Not only is he not missing a lot of bats, he's not missing any. Under 4% swinging strike rate, and we're up to 6 starts for him. Like last 3 starts, 1.4%, 2.4%, 1.2%.
It's so bad.
Yeah, and you just can't do that against a team this deep. So if he has a miraculous start and like he goes 5 innings with 6 strikeouts or something, then I'm just gonna take the L. But the Dodgers are gonna be my highest owned stack. I would expect them to be very popular, but I really don't care. They're by far the number 1 stack for me. And I don't even see anyone around 20%. So 15-game slate. Yeah, this is where I'm going.
Have to. Turner, Machado, Bellinger, Dozier, Grandal. I mean, if I said it in Spotlight Hitters and Stacks, but you don't see a lot of teams with someone as good as Puig hitting 9th.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so you don't have to. All right. This is also why I like the Dodgers, my number 1 stack and not ownership. You got the Yankees with an over 6 total. You've got Cleveland over 5. You've got Boston well over 6. I really like the Brewers Reds game. Everyone's gonna like the Wrigley Win game. So there are other spots. I'm not saying the Dodgers are the only stack, but I think they are the best stack. They're going up against the worst starting pitcher on the slate, and I think they have probably the best lineup on the slate. So pretty easy decision for me there.
Fixing a line quickly. Did that Colorado total come out yet? It did.
Yeah. I'm seeing 9 over 9.
Yeah, it's like 8.8.
What? I'm seeing 9.2.
Only Bet Online has it up, and it's the total's at 9 with pretty solid juice on the under.
Okay.
It won't matter till tonight anyway. Yeah, gotta love the Dodgers in my opinion. Hard not to. But they're going to be chalk, so make sure you're paying attention to that during your builds.
Yeah, I'm really not concerned about them being that chalky. If they're going to be around this ownership, like if Muncy's going to be 2%, or you're going to have low owned guys in this stack, which will make you unique game slate. If you play an 8-hole hitter, you're going to be different than 97% of the field.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. If you put Muncy in there, you've immediately created a much more contrarian Dodgers stack.
Exactly.
Jared Good, is there a more frustrating team in baseball than the freaking Nats? The Blue Jays yesterday would take the cake.
I don't know. I mean, I've lost a lot of money in the Nats this year.
Yeah. We've also lost a lot of money on those Dodgers.
I've made a ton of money in the Dodgers. So for a while, that was the team that...
Oh, that was your mini-max night?
Well, yeah, that was one of the teams. There were a couple of the Diamondbacks, Dodgers. But yeah, they just crushed. I think it was Wade LeBlanc. So against the lefty, it was crazy how that happens. They're so bad against lefties, right? But.
Alrighty. Win game. Mets, 4.5 run implied total. Cubs, 5. It's a 54% chance to win for the Cubbies. Once again, very nice pitching matchup in this in Wrigley. We've got Jake DeGrom going for New York. Cole Hamels going for Chicago. I don't have either guy. DeGrom, 12-2 on DraftKings. That is a very healthy price tag. Cole Hamels, 9,800. I don't really want to have any pitching here. Do you?
No, I don't think you need to. 15 gamer, you're not getting a discount on these guys because of the elements, and both teams are cheap for bats. So it's kind of hard to avoid the bats, even though I don't love targeting against DeGrom. I think Rizzo is a fine option for 4,300. Schwarber, 49. Yeah, Contreras is going to be chalky for 3,400 as well. And then Hamill still struggles with hard contact against righties. He's been awesome. Like, looks like honestly one of the best pitchers in the MLB as of late, maybe over the last month or so. But how can you not play Frazier and Flores with 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, and Rosario? Hamill struggles to hold runners too, so I think Rosario is probably one of the best value plays on the slate tonight. Yeah, it's going to be all bats for me here.
Yeah, I have weird combinations of it. So the Mets are my number 11 stack on FanDuel. I'm just with the field, but they're 5th for me on DK. Again, just with the field, but they look a lot better on DraftKings than they do on FanDuel. A lot of that has to do with Jeff McNeil's price point on FanDuel. He's only $100 cheaper than he is on DK. So I like having the Mets. It's a really good spot. And again, you get those top 5 guys in the lineup at short, second, first, third, and outfield. So really easy to work in with other teams. For the Cubs, I'm under the field. I only have 1%. I have one line of them on FanDuel, a couple lines on DK, but I'm under the field on both sites. It's just not a spot I want to be for the Cubbies for the second straight day.
I mean, yeah, you got to make some stand somewhere. So, yeah, if you don't like the Cubs or if you like the Dodgers, like I'll probably end up underweight on the Cubs as full stacks as well, just because I'm going to be so high on the Dodgers and probably the Red Sox. But yeah, I'm not super concerned about ownership tonight. So just want to reiterate that. Go with your favorite teams. No one's going to be mega chalk.
Now, Yankees 10% on the aggregate is the high for the day. So
yeah,
only 10% of 100%.
Yeah,
very minimal.
I mean, I really, really like Ahmed Rosario. Like, one of my favorite plays in the night.
Grades out really well for me. Yeah. Murphy, Baez, Rizzo really grading out well at the top there.
There you go. There's your 3-man.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I'm getting too.
Yeah, plus, Murphy has been great as a Cub.
As expected.
Hopefully he continues that.
Alrighty, to the A's we go. A's 3.6 run implied total. Astros 4.9. 64% chance to win for the Astros. Edwin Jackson going for Oakland. Charlie Morton going for Houston. Morton, relatively chalky, 26% expected ownership on DK, 19 on FanDuel. I'm slightly above the field on both sites. I love Morton here. I don't have any Edwin Jackson, so let's start there. What do you think about Morton tonight?
I'd like to see more lefties in the lineup for Morton. Does a good job limiting hard contact against righties, but strikes them out just over 23% of the time. And then you look at what he does against lefties, and he's just kind of dominant. So on the season, 37% K rate, 128 whip, gives up more hard hits, but when he's on, like, he's just striking out everyone. That's why I wish there were a few more lefties. Not saying that Morton can't get strikeouts, because he certainly can. And I do prefer him against or over a guy like Wheeler, and I think over Nola for his price. But I just don't think I'll end up with a ton of Morton exposure, just because there's only so many options you could take. You only have 200% for pitchers. And I do like Carrasco and Flaherty, who we'll talk about, better than him.
Okay. Astros bats. Number 9 stack for me on FanDuel. Number 10 on DK. I'm over the field on both. Am I a day late, or do you like the Astros?
No, I actually do like the Astros. And looking at what Edwin Jackson, I don't know what's going on with it, because he's not getting a lot of swinging strikes. He's not getting a lot of chases. He's not doing anything very special. The xFIP is 4.82. Against righties, 16% K rate, 37% hard contact. I'm sorry, that was against lefties. Against righties, he has the, I think, highest line drive rate of any pitcher on this slate, which is kind of crazy when you've got Ariel Jurado, James Shields.
Did you say highest line drive rate?
Highest line drive rate.
230 BABIP this season.
230?
Yeah. So smells like regression coming.
Yeah, 28.7% line drive rate on the season against righties for Jackson, 40% hard contact. A lot of pulled balls and wind blowing out to left for all these righties. Just seems like a really logical spot to go back to the Astros. I kind of wish they didn't go off last night, because just recency bias, they're going to be a little bit higher owned than they would have been if they would have stayed somewhat quiet. But I'm right back on them again here.
Couldn't agree more. I'm happy to have them tonight. Go Springer, go Bregman, go Altuve, go Correa. I'm in. Gaddis back in the lineup and hitting 8th, which is interesting.
Well, yeah, they can't move Marwin down. He's been raking.
I would hit Gaddis at 6th over Gurriel.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, they're a sharp organization. They should.
Yeah.
They gotta have some reason for what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm not in any position to tell them I'm smarter than them. I'd happily work for them.
You can always email them and, hey, have you thought of hitting Gaddis 6th?
Anything else in this game? Because I'm not touching the A's.
No, I'm just looking at chat right now. Astros are a bad home team. They hit like once every 10 games or so at home. They got it last night. I mean, most teams only hit once every 10 games for 11 runs.
Yeah.
So they haven't been healthy too, just like Shark says. I disagree with that analysis, but whatever. I mean, if they don't go off tonight, most teams don't go off most nights. So
Astros 106 weighted runs created plus at home this season, 10th in the league.
That's being battered all year. Like, their top 3 out of their top 4 guys have been out for most of the season. So.
Yeah. Actually, I want to take a look at that quickly. Go to the Astros. We'll do home splits.
Here.
Can I not do that?
On the splits leaderboard, you can go to...
I got it here.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see, like, how many plate appearances some of these guys have. Yeah, they're in the 200s, so that's not too bad. Carlos, they've played more at home than I would have expected. I thought they were more hurt than this. Gaddis has been really bad at home.
Gaddis has?
Yeah, and Correa.
I'm not a big believer in...
Like, Bregman's been great. Altuve's been great. Springer's been great. Gurriel's been great.
Astros have been awful at home lately, sure, on the team level, but they just got back Correa, Springer, and Altuve. You really think they're going to continue to be bad at home? I think they just can't hit at home for whatever reason. I don't buy it.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, that's not a case. Pirates and Cardinals. Pirates, 3.6 run implied total. Cardinals, 4.4. 60% chance to win for the Cards. Ivan Nova going for Pittsburgh. Jack Flaherty going for St. Louis. Nova, only 2% expected ownership. I'm a bit higher than that. I like him at that $5,300 price point. I have 6%, so it's nothing crazy. And then Flaherty, expected 5% ownership. I'm under the field there. I'm not going to be going to any Jack Flaherty here. What are your thoughts on the pitching in this game?
Flaherty just looks incredible to me. Just him as a pitcher. Now you could argue the matchups not great for strikeouts or whatever. I mean, there's ways to poke holes in this. Got guys with low K rates like Dickerson and Frazier and Starlin Marte. But over the last month, Pirates 22% K rate, 112 ISO, 75 weighted runs created plus. And then Flaherty just been super consistent. At least 7 strikeouts in each of his last 7 starts, and then just shut down the Dodgers like with authority. 6 innings, 10 strikeouts. I think he allowed 1 run, but near 25% swinging strike rate. That is incredible. That's one of the highest rates I've seen all year. And do that against a team like the Dodgers, that's ridiculous. So he's top 4 in whiffs per swing in August. He just looks, and if people aren't going to be on him, yeah, Flaherty's really good. If people aren't going to be on him, I'll gladly be whatever 5-7 times as high as that. I mean, I'd like to get well over 30% if he's going to be 5%.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not with you there. Steamer has these guys projected as not a really good strikeout matchup. They've been better than average against righties this year in terms of K rate. Where do I have him at? I have Flaherty with 6.1 Ks. He is 9th overall in my model. I just think this is too tough of a matchup for Flaherty to really thrive.
I mean, you look at his strikeout splits, and he's striking out, I think, over 35% of righties, 27% of lefties. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a big-time K rate this year.
Yeah. Like, he's just getting better and better and better. The whiffs keep going up. Just looks like a stud. And I'm just going to play a guy at 5% if I think he's been one of the best pitchers over the last couple months, and he has been.
I could see it. I mean, look, his numbers for the season are outstanding. Been a little hit lucky. BABIP's kind of low, but all of his advanced metrics look great. I have no problem with him on the surface. I just don't totally want to target against the Pirates on a day like today.
That's fair. I mean, they're not the greatest strikeout matchup, but I've been striking out a little bit more lately, and I just have a ton of faith in Flaherty being very, very good.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea of it. I mean, he's definitely got the natural talent to do it.
How about the other side here, Nova?
I'll have a little bit of him at 5,300. Nothing crazy. I mean, Cardinals 4.4 run implied total right now. That's appealing to me if Nova's only 5,300.
Right. That's kind of where I'm at. Kind of like the thing with Despaigne yesterday. It didn't work with Despaigne, but Hess, it worked with
Stratton
too. He was a little bit more expensive, but when a guy's 5,300, it's not a crazy run total against him. He can do at least a couple of things decently well, and for Nova, that is strike out righties and get ground balls. and he's going to get maybe 7 righties, including a pitcher spot. That's appealing if he can keep the ball in the yard, which I think he should be able to do. He just got such big righty-lefty splits. So when he doesn't get lefty-heavy lineups, I'm somewhat interested in using him. And at 5,300 on a slate with Scherzer and Carrasco and Flaherty and huge bats, he's definitely piquing my interest. I wrote him up in spotlight pitchers, mostly first price, and the fact that he can go 90-plus pitches.
There we go. Anything interesting from bats? Neither team is particularly owned, and I don't have anything of value.
No, I'm going to be on both the pitchers here. So I don't like targeting, Matt Carpenter, and that's really about it. I don't like targeting righty bats against Nova that much.
Cool. To the Rockies we go. Rockies and Angels. Rockies, what I have in, I still don't think we have a total here yet. No, we do. It is like 8.8. Yep. All right, we're good. 4.5 run implied total for the Rockies, 4.3 for the Angels. It's a 51% chance to win for Colorado. Kyle Freeland going for Colorado. No Ramirez? Noe? No. Does it rhyme with toe? Gentleman with the last name Ramirez going for the Angels. I don't have any pitching in this game, but I think we might want to dig in on Ramirez, actually. What do you know?
He's not stretched out.
He's not stretched out?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I knew that.
The Angels.
I knew that. Profiles as a really decent reliever. I knew that I didn't have him in for any sort of long stint. I think I have him in for 2 innings. Yeah, I do.
So I don't love targeting bullpen games. Not crazy about doing it against Tampa, and this is going to be a true bullpen game for the Angels. They're just going to mix and match. No one will go more than a few innings, 3 innings probably. So I'm not crazy about Rockies bats. They're outside of Coors. They're going to start with a righty. I mean, just 15 game slate, so I got to be picky. I'm pretty much crossing this entire game off besides Mike Trout at 6K.
Okay, so I have a lot more Angels bats, actually. It's the only spot that I'm really on this game. We're only projecting 2% aggregate ownership to the Angels on DraftKings, and I have 8, so I'm 4 times the field. Lots of Calhoun, lots of Fletcher, Trout, Pujols. I don't like saying it out loud, but lots of Rene Rivera. I like the Angels in this spot, getting that righty-lefty matchup. They haven't been great against lefties this year, only an 85 weighted runs created plus, but they have been above average in terms of hard contact. So I'm willing to roll the dice. I wish they had a bit higher of an implied total, but they're really cheap outside of Trout. So you get Trout plus, Fletcher, Pujols, X. That's not a bad spot to be. They're relatively cost efficient.
Yeah, hit me up sometime, fellas. I'll show you how to do your pitcher research in under 15 minutes every day. I mean, you're not doing research if you're looking at 15 minutes of pitchers every day.
I look at 0 minutes of pitchers every day. How's that?
Unless you really, really trust your model. Like if you're like into pitchers, that's not research. If it takes 15 minutes to go through 30 pitchers, that's literally scrolling down a lineups page. But anyways. Yeah, it's going to be Trout. And then I didn't see how cheap Andrelton Simmons was. I just have him as a good hitter. Doesn't strike out against lefties or righties, really. But I don't target heavily against Freeland, especially outside of Coors. But even in Coors, he's too expensive for me. Not the most strikeout upside. And then, like you said, the Angels haven't been that great against lefties this entire year. So just Trout, sprinkle in some Andrelton Simmons. And that is really about it.
Andrelton Simmons, 3,500 on DraftKings. I like it. I've got 7%, and we're projecting him for basically nothing. So,
okay.
And I'll have just a smattering of Rockies on DK. But we're projecting no ownership there.
Got it.
Mariners and Padres. Mariners 4.5 run implied total. Padres 4.0. 55% chance to win for the Mariners. Get ready for this one. Felix Hernandez going for Seattle. Jacob Nix going for San Diego. Hernandez, Chalk. 27% expected ownership on DraftKings. I've got 16. Jacob Nix, 4% expected ownership on DraftKings. I've got 11. Tell me about how much you love Felix Hernandez today.
I don't like playing Felix on the road on a 15-game slate. If he's going to be any sort of chalk, I will pass. Even if he has a good start, I think 20 points is probably the cap, and I think I can get close to that with a guy like Nova, maybe even Yanni Chirinos if things go well. Brian Johnson, same thing. So I know Johnson's a little bit more expensive, but I think if I'm going to a pitcher heavily in this game, it might be Nix just for the price. I don't really think Nix is that good at all.
Same.
But looking at how the slate kind of sets up, I think I'm more on your side with a little over the field on Nix. And then I'm just going to have basically no Felix Hernandez. Home road splits are an issue with him. And I think there might be something to that. Not saying the Padres have good hitters, but 25%, 27% is kind of ridiculous for Felix, who was just pulled from the rotation 2 starts ago.
Yeah, I find it a little fascinating that he is getting this much juice. I like him, but I don't know about that.
Rhino DFS.
Fantastic person. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So not a game I want to target a ton of bats, but I guess Robinson Cano for 4,400 just against a bad righty or a below average righty is the guy I would go to in this game. But honestly, it's not great. Even though I don't want to play Felix, I'm not going to be excited about firing up a Padres stack either.
Well, you should get excited for that, particularly on FanDuel. Padres, number 4 stack for me on the old FD. First 4 in particular, Jankowski, Myers, Hosmer, Renfroe. They're basically free. Jankowski projected to lead off at minimum salary is a large driver of this. I don't have really any respect for Felix anymore, so I will use the Padres as filler on FanDuel.
Yeah, I probably won't. It's gonna be just 15-game slate. Like, I know this is how most people think, but why would you want to stack up the San Diego Padres at home?
Why wouldn't you?
Because they're awful.
Look, I'm not proud of it.
Like, if they had some power lefties in there, I would be a lot more likely to do it. But man, not great.
Yeah, look, it's a price play. It's the way that I can get to the Dodgers on FanDuel or the Red Sox on FanDuel, the Yankees. They make for a nice, just like general fill-in. That's all. It's not like I'm expecting them to do really well, but I'm hoping that I can catch that top of the order.
All right. We're on different pages there.
Team McD. Hey, group, look at these people reacting properly to the ridiculous thing I said.
Hey, by the way, did we miss on Detroit KC?
We certainly did.
Yeah.
Rolling it back. Tigers and Royals. Tigers 4.4 run implied total. Royals 4.6. 52% chance to win for the Royals. Matt Boyd going for the Tigers. Jake Junis going for Kansas City. Boyd, 6% expected ownership on DraftKings. I've got 5. It's a guy I normally get to. Jake Junis, 11% expected ownership on DraftKings. I've got 17%. Where do you stand on Boyd or Junis?
I think I'm off. Well, definitely off of Boyd. Not a guy I play very often. Not for 7,600 on the road with 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. Really like Whit Merrifield for 5,100. Dual position eligibility, and then
holy
Salvador
shit, he's
Perez.
5,100 right now.
That's ridiculous, but love playing him against lefties. And then Salvador Perez, going to be a pretty popular option, I would assume, for 3,700. This one has a little bit of weather concerns, So keep an eye on this. Seems like the only one with any sort of even minor concerns. And then Junis, God, like convinced, like why do you want to play Junis here? I mean, I understand he's a favorite, 7,100. He's had a decent stretch. But man, I just think I could get the same thing with less risk from a guy like, I don't know, Brian Johnson, Lance Lynn, like even Pan One.
Okay, so I don't have any Brian Johnson. I agree with you on Lance Lynn. I have a ton of Lance Lynn, so he's not going to be a great example for me. But just to speak on Junis, Tigers this season against righties, 135 ISO, 369 slugging, a 78 weighted runs created plus. Candelario, Castellanos, Aducci, Goodrum, Matuk, McCann, Jacoby Jones all project to strike out more than league average. Iglesias and Vmart basically don't K. Everyone else is relatively high. I think it's a really interesting strikeout matchup. And with the way that the Tigers have been against righties this year, it honestly does feel relatively safe.
I mean, I guess he has been much better as of late. I think I was on him last start. I don't even remember how that start ended up. He can strike out righties 25% rate season. So that's the one thing he can do, and there are a bunch of righties in here. It's a bad team. They're worse on the road. I mean, I get where you're coming from. I get it. But, man, with so many options in this range, do I really want to play the chalkiest one or one of the chalkiest ones?
So, obviously, I never look at this sort of stuff, but he's made 3 starts against the Tigers this year. 8 Ks in one, only 1 walk. 4 Ks in another, 1 walk. 6 Ks in the other, 1 walk. So 18 strikeouts to 3 walks in 22 innings. Like, I clearly never look at something like that, but performance early in the season against Detroit's been good. 8.6 Ks per 9 this season is really solid in my opinion. He's Jake Junis, so I'm setting a relatively low bar. 22% K rate. I feel like it's a pretty solid spot. I'm not scared of the Tigers. They don't really have any power to speak of, so I think it's worth being over the field there. 11% is actually lower than I would have expected.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if there's any weather concerns, he's going to be one of the first guys I cross off, just because I don't want to deal with the one game with weather concerns about a guy I'm already not crazy about.
Oh, 100%. So if this looks as dicey as it does right now at 6 o'clock tonight, I'm not going to have 17% Jake Junis.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. If it clears up, I mean, that's fine. I certainly understand the play, but Brian Johnson's not going to get any love, and he's a minus 260 favorite, and everyone wants to go to Junis.
I don't see the Johnson appeal at all.
He's a 260 favorite. I mean, I'm not a big Vegas guy, but
he's not a 260 favorite. The Red Sox are.
Right, but he needs to go 5-6 innings maybe and be okay. And he's done that in a bunch of starts this year, and he's stretched out too.
All right, so let's say this. I've got Brian Johnson projected for 0.6 of a point more than Jacob Nix.
Oh, all right. Well, then that's easy for you. You just play Nix.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I'm just – God, I don't want to make it seem like I think Brian Johnson's a great pitcher or anything, because he's not.
I have Brian Johnson 0.2 of a point behind Kyle Freeland, and Freeland's 9,200. It's a really weird day if you're not in the top 10,000.
Yeah.
Any bats here? Because I'm digging the Royals. I know you were talking about Merrifield before. They are my 8th ranked stack on FanDuel, 4th on DK. I'm over the field on both sites. Love Merrifield, Salvador Perez, Alex Gordon, Dozier, Herrera. I've got a lot of that top 5.
The majority of my exposure to the Royals will be Merrifield and Perez. So the duo stacks. Tom says, for these types of high-risk weather games, I'll have a couple 5-man stacks in my lineups. That's it. Don't kill a lineup for a pitcher or one-off hitters. I completely agree.
Yeah, and for any of the like new FanVice guys, if you're here, I approach looking at these games in the morning like everything's going to play. It's a lot easier to give you guys my thoughts on what I want to happen. If the weather comes in, it's a lot easier to just be like, oh, ignore everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, final game, right? Diamondbacks and Giants.
Fun one.
Yeah. D-backs, 3.5 run implied total. Giants, 3.5 run implied total. Coin flip game. Clay Buchholz going for Arizona. Matty Bum Bums going for San Francisco. 16% expected ownership on Bumgarner. I've got 21%. Really like him here. I love this ballpark. I love targeting pitching here. Shout out Chris Stratton. Do you want anything other than Bumgarner if you want Bumgarner?
I don't want Bumgarner. I prefer the guys a little bit ahead of him, a little bit higher price than him. So I'm not going to get to much Bumgarner at all. He has been better results-wise, but I still don't think he's back to being the old Bumgarner. Not getting a lot of swinging strikes, not getting a ton of chases either, and then going to see a bunch of righties. He's giving up 41% hard contact to righties in the season. Under 19% K rate. Kind of been lucky with the BABIP despite the hard contact. I know he gets a lot of ground balls. I know he's pitching at home in this great park, but I think he is going to be a little bit over-owned for his price. I actually don't hate going with Pollock, especially, but Pollock and Goldschmidt, the duo stack, I'll have a decent amount of that because it's going to be super, super unowned. And I don't think those guys should ever be unowned against a lefty, even on a 15-gamer.
Yeah, Pollock grading out really, really well for me on DraftKings. 4,400 leading off. He's not a guy that I'm getting to, but if I needed to one-off someone and like manually enter it, Pollock would be really close to the top of the list.
Man, yeah, like I'm just like imagining you've got like your 5-man stack goes off early in the slate, and then you've got Pollock and Goldschmidt sitting there against a pitcher that's going to be kind of chalky in the late night hammer, and you get all that leverage for a 1% owned guy or 2% owned guy.
Yeah, you would want it. It's just a scary spot.
For who?
Just hitters in San Francisco in general.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but like I would be happy to have that set up to have those two guys because I think in a vacuum they look great. Righty lefty, but you're obviously going to fail more than you succeed there just because of AT&T.
Baseball.
Well, yeah, but I just mean AT&T in general is not exactly a run haven.
That's fine.
But yeah, I love the idea of having a Pollock Goldschmidt combo to leverage Bumgarner's ownership and the fact that they are essentially unowned. It's a great point.
They're just such good hitters against lefties.
Yeah, I mean they're just good hitters in general too.
Crunch time. Right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, are you on Buchholz? You're not on Buchholz or Giants, right?
Nope, not at all.
I am not either. Buchholz looks pretty solid to me. Not for 10K though. And then Giants bats. No one I really love. I think Brandon Belt's going to be the only guy that's probably going to be kept in my player pool at 3,500. Just rakes everywhere at home on the road. Doesn't really matter for him.
So for some reason, I don't know if it was just a feature in the beta that was lucky for me, but every time I go back to Fantasy Cruncher now, my crunch is gone.
I don't know. Mine still shows up.
Yeah, like I went to DK, didn't have any, but I do the same thing every day. I certainly don't delete them. If I'm running it now, they're slowly popping up. Who would we want to take a look at first?
Let's kind of see who we can get with Dodgers because they're super expensive. We kind of breezed past their pricing. You may have to go double punt or like mid-tier pure punt with like a Knicks or a Nova or Chirinos.
So I've got a Dodgers 5-man with Perez, Hunter Dozier, and Herrera with a Bumgarner Desclafani combo. Not going to be your cup of tea. What about Junis Jacob Nicks?
Junis Jacob Nicks. I mean,
okay, here we go. This one's for you now. Flaherty and Nicks. Salvador Perez, Hunter Dozier, Alex Gordon, with Brian Dozier, Justin Turner, Machado, Jock, and Bellinger.
Yeah, that's more my speed.
I figured. The Dozier combo? Oh, double Doziers? Who wouldn't want that?
I honestly don't like Brian Dozier that much. But
fair.
Whatever.
Let's take a look and see
I
what else.
like the idea. I mean, I think I could fill in some different guys at different price ranges if need be.
Carrasco and Felix, so you could swap Felix out there and get Pujols, Jeffrey Marte, and Cole Calhoun.
Jeffrey Marte, man, that's digging deep.
Yeah, a little bit.
I honestly think if I'm doing that, I would rather go with like swap out Calhoun and go with like Eric Young, who's just a punt outfielder, and get two different guys as my two-man.
What do you think about Tehran and Lance Lynn with the Dodgers stack, Mesoraco, Flores, and Ahmed Rosario?
Yeah, that's a lineup I would definitely put in. You could swap out,
and you could flip-flop Tehran and Lynn there to get to a different combo easily.
You could go like Flaherty Knicks there. You could go to Flaherty Nova. You could go to Carrasco Nova. Like that. That's exactly what I'm trying to do tonight. That kind of lineup. You got upside all over the place. Flores, a guy who hits lefties really well. Mesoraco can hit lefties. It's a Wrigley win game. You get maybe the two best hitting environments on the slate, and really good parts of both stacks. Yeah. Rosario is going to make so much stuff work for me tonight.
Yeah, I swapped out for Knicks and Carrasco. You get that, and you still have $800 left over if you needed to massage that differently.
Yeah, that looks...
I mean, you can go from Mesoraco to like Salvador Perez instead if you wanted to, or go to Grandal and remove somebody else from the Dodgers. It's a tasty way to do it, I think.
Looks awesome.
Who else can we look at? So that's an idea of what's happening if you do go to the Dodgers. Was there anybody that we like that we were over the field on?
Reds. Let's try Reds on DK.
Okay.
Or Brewers. Someone in that game. I think that game goes really overlooked.
Okay, let's take a look and see if we can get some Brewers, because I have more Brewers than Reds. Brewers 5-man with Moreland, Betts, Benintendi, Felix Hernandez, and Morton as the two starters.
Well, I mean, I'd swap out Felix, but yeah. That's awesome.
I mean, you can pretty easily go to Nova or Knicks there. You go to Knicks, you can
Garcia, go to Rosario, probably.
Yeah. Plenty of money to go around there.
Fantastic. This is going to be a fun slate.
You can do 5-man Brewers with Bumgarner and Lynn with a Neil Walker, Stanton, Hicks trio. I'd be fine with that, obviously.
Yeah.
How about your 5-man Brewers with Machado, Peterson, Bellinger, and then it's a Lance Lynn Felix combo, so you can easily massage that as well.
Yeah, I like it.
I could dance with that one for sure. You get Springer, Altuve, and Gaddis with that 5-man Brewers stack. Bum Bums and Jake Junis. Not your combo, but I like it.
Right. It's fine. I mean, it's all about lineup construction, right? So whether it's Bumgarner, Junis, or Nova, Carrasco, it's gonna be the same hitters.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. If we drop Junis down to Nova, I hate when this doesn't like totally update. There we go. We can go all the way up to Carrasco there. $700 left. Carrasco, Nova, 5-man Brewers stack with Gaddis, Altuve, Correa. I'm completely in there. You can probably make a couple switches there if you don't want to go to Arcia.
Exactly. You should like your lineups tonight.
Yeah. You should. Construction's relatively easy.
Yeah. Like Scherzer, is he going to go under own? Probably. But bats are going to be – there's going to be some teams that score a lot of runs tonight, and hopefully it's the Dodgers scoring like 25.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be happy with that because I'll have a bunch of Dodgers, but I'd prefer it to be one of these teams that nobody's on.
Yeah.
I'd rather 25 from the Blue Jays. I think that would be pretty lucrative for me. Alrighty, everybody. That is it. Like and subscribe. That would be very, very helpful. We are finishing off ironing out the content schedule moving forward. So for the FanVice peeps, you should get back to normal shortly. We're going to try to get a couple shows up tomorrow with some of the people that you have been waiting for. Tonight we have live stream before lock, 6 p.m. Jake and Chris. We'll have the deep dive coming out from Adam today. We'll have the daily game plan article, quick hits. Lots to look forward to on this big 15 gamer. So best of luck, everybody. Jake, do you have anything you want to add?
Top stack article from Alex. I don't know if you mentioned that.
I did not.
I wouldn't be too concerned about ownership tonight. There's going to be, definitely check out the ownership projections. There's going to be some ownership on individual hitters, but as a whole, I really like how this slate sets up. So I'm just going to play my favorite plays and go really heavy on them and hopefully be profitable. Yeah, give us the like. Tom's asking for likes in the chat, so please him.
Hit that thumbs up.
Yeah, hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you back at 6 Eastern. More dong picks. I'm charging pretty hard right now. So
you really are
looking to defend my title from last night.
Yuck. Hate it. All right, everybody. Best of luck tonight. We'll talk to you later. Bye.